on camera.
So the second scene is with the same client, 10 years down the road. She's in her mid-20s. Obviously, her rebellious childhood led her to a life of drugs and crime, and she is now in community family court and had her own kids removed from her, who are now placed in the foster care system. And she's headed to prison. And in order to divert that consequence, she pled into adult community family court in hopes to stay out of prison and get her kids back. So in this scene, my caseworker has come to talk to me to try to identify some clear-cut goals using the motivational interviewing method. And you will see the client demonstrate self-determination and a little bit of strategic self-presentation.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Well, I just thought I'd come down and talk with you. And I'm sorry I didn't get a hold of you sooner, but, our schedules. But I'm really here just to help you. And, I came down to the Gospel Mission today just to meet you on your turf. And let's just take away all the institutions, relax, and just let me hear your story and your plan. I know that we have court coming up with child welfare and drug court to talk about your kids, housing, you being a safe parent, and the main issue is your substance abuse. So how do we help you be better?
I don't know. I feel like, I'm doing everything that I need to be doing. I am living here at the mission, and I'm jumping through all the hoops, and I'm going to treatment. And I just really want to get my kids back, and I know that if I screw up even one time, I'm going to prison, and that my kids will be permanently removed from me. And so I want to be able to get my kids back, but that just seems so far off, and I don't even know how to do it.
Well, first, let's go back to that. I just want you to relax. Don't worry about the punitive part of it. We're here to support you. You've already been here. We're going to advocate for you so much. You've come here. You're homeless. You're living in a shelter. And everything about you right now is saying that you want your kids back. I'm listening to your story. You want your kids back. How do you think you can get your kids back? Let's just focus on that.
Well, I think, first of all, it's hard to just let go of all the punitive stuff because I feel like everybody's out to get me. I feel like nothing I do is good enough. And I keep telling them, that staying in the mission isn't conducive to that plan because I need housing. I need a permanent, stable house. And in order to have a permanent, stable house, I need a job. But I can't get a job because I'm going to group 4 hours a week, 5 days a week. I'm going to 2 AA or NA meetings a week. I'm going to court once a week. I have meetings with my case manager. I have visitations on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my kids, and there's no time. How am I supposed to get a job?
And that's where I come in. And I hear you saying you have group, you have treatment, you have visitation, you're worried about jobs. Breathe. I can help you organize all of that. And I think first things first, which is most important, is you having your visits and housing with your kids. And I'm hearing that. That's coming from you right now. You want your kids. You want your housing. You got to have food. Those are the basic things that we all need in order to feel safe and secure. And I think if we can focus on those things right now, I'll give you those first three things. Let's just focus on housing. Let's focus on you getting your needs met and you having contact with your kids. And I think that's a great start for us to have a plan when we go to court next week to say that my client is focused on having her kids and housing and meeting her kids' needs and as well as her own. And so I think if you and I can sit and talk about that a little further, let's talk about what your options are. What are the available options for housing? What have you been told about visiting with your kids?
Well, aside from having to be there on time and all of that, I'm making my visits with my kids, which is great, because they've been removed from me for a year. But I'm really just stuck on the whole housing part and getting a job. The judge keeps telling me job, but I keep saying to my counselors, I need my days cut down in group. I can't get a job. When am I supposed to work? I can't go to the strip club anymore. That's out of the question. So unless I'm working late nights and I've got all these things to do in the day, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Well, I want this to be your idea. But in our program, we have grants that will allow you to live with your kids, that will allow you to get, it's temporary needy assistance, which you don't have to worry about the money for now. It's short term to help you be able to provide money for you and your kids. We have food through the Oregon Trail, which we can get you for you and your
I
kids.
have that.
Okay. But I think, since your kids are out of your care, once your kids come back, I think that amount will go up. And so we can alleviate some of the basic need stresses. You can have your kids back, and you can be in safe
I
housing.
can't have my kids back unless I have safe housing.
And that's what I'm saying through our grant. But I really want this to be your idea, and I'm not trying to sell you on any programs. The caseworker told me that the agency would be willing to pay for you to go into housing, and it's a 3-bedroom apartment where you can be with your kids. And their only goal right now is to help you get alcohol and drug treatment. And so you could go to treatment, but you could have your kids, you could have money to help you get through your day-to-day chores. So
all I have to do is stay clean and keep going to groups and then keep going to my meetings, and then I can have a house.
You get to be a parent. You get to just be with your kids
in a house.
And go to groups during the day. You can focus on being clean and sober.
But what do I do after the program? I'm going to have to get a job.
And let's go back to what I said in the beginning. You said the 3 things that we're going to focus on right now. It's just you getting some money, so your basic needs met, house, and your kids. We can focus on all of that as that time comes. But let's meet these 3 goals right now and just focus on that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. And I'll write it up and we'll go talk to them.
Okay.